In this video, we're going to go over how to create a new bid. If you need a refresher on what a bid is, please see one of the previous videos. First things first, there will be two main people involved in creating a bid. The salesperson who has to create the bid and the sales manager, district manager, or operations manager who will approve the bid. Creating a bid and approving a bid require certain permissions in Drakewell. If you are a salesperson and need to be able to create a bid and are incapable of it, it means you probably do not have the correct permissions. So let's first go over the permissions that you will need. And you will have to ask someone who has HR permissions in your organization. It'll probably be your Drakewell super user. So let's start with Cecilia. Cecilia is in sales and she needs to be able to create bids. In order to do that, if you click her HR tab, which you probably won't have access to, that Drakewell super user though will, Cecilia needs the ability to create and edit a bid and modify the billing types. So these four things. To approve the bid, Joy, who is a sales manager, needs to have this permission, the ability to approve a bid. So that's step one, making sure everybody has the abilities to do the job they need to do in Drakewell. To get to the point where you can create a new bid, you'll come to job and down to bids, just like you would do if you were kind of looking at this list. And you'll come over on the right hand corner and click create new. And here you'll see, your blank template. You'll choose your customer. And again, this stuff will automatically kind of populate based on stuff that's companies that are already entered. I'm going to pick this company. I'm going to say it's in Casper. It is directional services, and I'm going to say it is in the Haynesville. I'm also going to say that the effective date for this bid is not today. So if I created this bid with that field empty, like I said in a previous video, then that would mean that the day in which I create the bid will be the effective date for the pricing to be good from. But this pricing has potentially been around since before today, so I'm going to put 5/26 in here. I can add any kind of special categories I want. These will be tags that you can search through on the bid screen if you ever want to later. So maybe here I'm going to type in dark-winged duck, and you'll see that I'll be able to search for that later. There are a few fields that are below. A lot of them are default things, and I will show you where you can enter them. So I'm going to say reset to default, so this is going to pull the message to the customer, the rate package, the health and safety and terms and conditions from the template that's set up in Drakewell by someone else, most likely. Once I've reset it to default, I can change this and I can say this is my message to the customer, and I can make things bold and italicize them, change the colors, whatever you want to do. You can also add links here. You can change the styles, do bullets, numbering, the whole shebang. Then down here, you will see billing items. So what you'll do is you'll come and you'll say, okay, I want to maybe add, this is directional services, I want to have a directional and MWD services rate per day. So I'll add it. It'll default go into your secondary billing item bucket. And you can move it by clicking on this arrow right here to primary. I like to put things that will be day rates that the hands will use regularly in the primary bucket, so like directional and MWD services per day or standby charges, because they will be in a quick selection area at the job level for directional drillers, so it makes their life easier, and it also helps you control kind of what they're most likely to add onto the field ticket. Maybe I also want, let's see here, I can type, I want a standby rate. So I want to add a standby rate, so I'll add that item and drag it up here. Maybe I want an additional MWD gamma hand per day, and I'll put that there. And I will do a stabilized motor charge, whatever, it doesn't matter. I can come in here and edit any of these default rates. So say the stabilized motor charge is actually 500. I can change that here and save it. If I want to kind of show that what specifically is part of the directional and MWD services package, I can say 1 directional supervisor, 2 MWD field hands. I'm separating them by commas, and you'll see how this will show up. And maybe gamma logging and DNI. And maybe this is 9200. And I can add an accounting code if I want to. Again, this is something your company will decide whether or not they want to do, but it can help accounting later on down the road. You see that since I put those semicolons after 1 directional supervisor and 2 MWD field hands, everything is kind of oriented one after the other in list form and italicized. So again, if I look at this, you can see it's because of that semicolon that it's formatted like that. Okay, now since I've added new things, just like everywhere else in Drakewell, the top banner is yellow because I've made changes. So I'm going to go ahead and save where I'm at right now, just so I don't lose where I'm at. And you can see up here on the top left-hand corner that the bid is in status pending because it hasn't been approved. It hasn't even been finished, frankly. These are, we can come in here and add we could delete the rate package information if we wanted to, you know, HSE information, terms and conditions. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and save all of that. I'm also gonna go ahead and choose the salesperson to be Cecilia because I already know that she's a salesperson in this organization. Now, if I were to print this, keep in mind it's in status pending. If I were to click this blue button, print, you will see a big watermark for draft on here. And the reason that shows up as draft is because this bid has not been approved yet. Once it is approved by an operations manager or whoever makes sense, this watermark will disappear. But the watermark is intended to keep people from giving, you know, pricing that hasn't been agreed upon within the company to the customer. Okay. So now that it's been created, if I go to my jobs or my bids list, I can see 1028 is up here. So 1028, and it's in status pending. The ops manager or whoever will get an email notification saying, hey, there's a new thing that needs to be approved. Maybe this person will approve it and save it. And once it's been saved as approved, if we look at that bid, you can see that the draft watermark has disappeared. And that is how you create a new bid. In another video, I will show you where you can enter in all of the default information to populate the message to the customer and the HSE terms and conditions fields.